BFFs with tricks but never getting paid bitches. Grenade bitches, they dynamite. Blowing up on the pimpin', then missing when the time is right. But when they like your strike, they see pimpin' shining bright. But they action is life without. Bitch, one strike, you out. Oh, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. See, that's the difference, nigga. The pimpin' mashing for these bitches, nigga. Nothing like you master magician, niggas. Smoking mirrors with your game, hella extras to reflect the opposite appearance of a lame. Bitches coming from y'all, I can't rock the doors. 10-footed and rooted in them doctor shows. Soft shit rituals, minute residuals. Papers on life support, your loots and critical. Something I learned about when running my own route. You're working with turnouts, it's murdering burnouts. Knocking one of you niggas for a scar, bitch. That's knocking one of you niggas for some garbage. I'm heartless regardless, empty with sympathy, but banked up to the max with empathy. No remedy for me, I'm like this. My life is vice grip, synced in permanent ink. You can't rewrite this. My blood type is P positive, beautifully deposited with a lot of it. I'm popping this shit, and when I pop it so hard. I make that trapping ass bad bitch wanna hold hard. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Come on, pimpin', man, pop that shit. Show these sucker niggas they can't stop that shit. Let these hookers know if they wanna cop that shit. Treat the bag like it's hot, bitch, and drop that shit. And to you hoes, if you ever took a loss, bitch, show these bitches how to bounce back like a boss, bitch. Let them know that the best way to floss, bitch, is reach the paper to some pimpin' hoe and toss. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga.
Okay. Can y'all see a pimp good? Can y'all hear a pimp good? Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me? Let me know. Let me know. Somebody let me know. Can y'all hear me? Okay, all right. Good looking, Ray. All right, man. We're gonna chop it and pop it this evening. Jay Chris, the name of that song at the end is Sip This Game, but it's not necessarily my song. It's a song that I'm featured on, so that's why I haven't released it, because it's not really my song, even though I'm pretty sure the other people on the song wouldn't mind if I did release it. But that's the reason why I haven't released it, is because, like I said, it's other people on the song, so it's not necessarily my song. And I don't want to just put it out without speaking to those people on the song and seeing how they feel about it. So that's why the song hasn't been released at this point in time, but hopefully it gets released sometime sooner than later in the near future. You did? Okay. SMD Goose, good looking for the subscription. And hopefully y'all hitting that bell when y'all subscribe. Hopefully y'all wiped your feet off at the door. Let's see. We got 36 people in here right now. But how many? 25 of y'all wiped your feet off at the door. Okay, man. You know, we need some feet getting wiped off at the door. If it's, okay, now it's 42 people in here. That means it should be 84 feet wiped off at the door, man. But it's only 50 feet wiped off at the door right now. You did. But y'all already know, man. First order of business. Him got to put this motherfucking love juice in the glass, and then from the glass to a precious pimp's body, or a pimp's precious body, however you want to put that together, chop it up how you like. But appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're gonna chop some good game. Hold on, let me do something real quick before we continue. Let me do something real quick. But yeah, man. We gonna chop it and pop it tonight. $4. Good looking on the subscription. I'm just doing something real quick before we get started. Hold on. Okay, wait. Hold on a second. Get this shit together right quick. Oh no, wait, that ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't what a pimp looking for. Oh man, you tripping. Come on, man. Damn. It's always some shit trying to interfere with this game, man. Every time this game putting some shit together, man, it's always the spirit of bullshit trying to come against this game, man. We ain't having it. Pimpin' ain't having it. You dig? Okay. Now, let's try this again. Hold on. Okay. I don't know why this shit is taking forever. Damn, man. Y'all go ahead and wipe your feet off at the door if you haven't done so already. While Pimp get this set up together real quick. I'm almost done. All right. All right, we looking good. We ready for action. But yeah, man, you know, as the title suggests, we're going to talk about bad association, man, because if you don't maintain a sucker-free diet, man, you know, suckers are not even necessarily suckers, but, you know, somebody that might be well-intended, but they just not the right individual for you to be around. A lot of times these individuals could land you in a fucked up situation. You know, it's motherfuckers who done lost their lives. It's motherfuckers who done lost their freedom. It's motherfuckers who've been, you know, extremely inconvenienced, all because they was kicking around a motherfucker that they didn't have no business being around. And give you an example, right? Now, I'm a young pimp in the game. Hold on. Let me put some of this love in my body. Go ahead, hit a pimp with them splash emojis, man. Let me know y'all in tune with a pimp with this love shit this evening. But yeah, so like I say, I'm a young pimp in the game at the time, and the one little hoe that I had, she went to jail. She had some warrants from a situation before she was with me. So when she got with me, I knew she had these warrants already. So she goes to jail, and she ends up being in jail for about 30 days, right? So, you know, naturally, you know, when she went to jail, Pimp ended up being fucked up for a little minute, right? So I'm out top of the morning on the Fremont Experience in Las Vegas downtown, and I run into some old school pimping, right? Me and him start chopping it up, and he was fucked up too, right? He had like a similar situation too, like for one reason or another. I can't remember exactly. I damn near want to say his bitch was in jail too, or something that happened, but you know, the one hoe that he had was, you know, out of commission for whatever reason as well, right? So me and him both fucked up. So a lot of times when two pimps come together and they both fucked up, you know, they'll join forces to hold each other down. You know, as we know, it's strength in numbers, and you know, one might have something going on that the other might not have going on. Like hypothetically speaking, you know, if you got a place to stay, but you ain't got no car, and if I don't have no place to stay, but I got a car, and we both fucked up, then we gonna put it together and make that shit work. You dig? So that's what we did in this situation. Me and the old school pimping. We we came together. You know, I had a few little dollars. He had a few little dollars. And we put it together, and we went and got a little weekly apartment in Vegas. You know, anybody who know anything about Vegas, y'all already know it's weeklies all over that motherfucker. So we went and got a weekly. I'm trying to remember, was that motherfucker on Bonanza or Washington? It was on one of them. It was like going towards the west side, right? So we get a weekly over there. I can't remember the name of the place. It's probably didn't. If it's even still there, the name probably done changed 20 times, because you know Vegas is always changing, right? So anyway, me and old school pimping, we get a weekly joint together, and we going to the strip together every night. Now, I'm going to campaign, right? I'm going to campaign to have a bitch to knock me a hoe. Old school pimping, he kind of lightweight doing the same thing, but you know, he got some other tricks up his sleeve. And a lot of cats are critical of the old school pimping, right? You know, they criticize the way, or not just the old school pimping, but you know, pimping is just like some of the most critical motherfuckers. Like, you know, we critique everything, we criticize everything when it comes to the pimping, right? You know, if something is like not to the standard that a motherfucker think it should be, you know, motherfuckers criticize pimps for leaking, motherfuckers criticize pimps for making deals, motherfuckers criticize pimps for, you know, how they deal with their hoes as far as intimacy goes. You know, you gonna get if you in the game and you ain't never been criticized, you ain't in the game. You know, pimps is just some motherfuckers we just criticize. I've been guilty of the same shit. So I say all of that to say a lot of cats criticize a lot of old school pimps for the way they handle things, especially when they leaking. And you know, me just being older and wiser in the game now, you know, I just have a different outlook on certain shit, especially when I know that people from a certain era do things a certain way because that's the way they understood the game to be, right? So basically, old school pimping that I'm talking about, you know, he's somebody that was in the game back in the 70s, right? He would be in his 70s right now, wherever he is. I ain't seen him in a while, but I would imagine he's still living. Hopefully he is, but he's in his 70s right now. But anyway, so like I said, we both fucked up. My hoe in jail for 30 days. Me and him come together. We get a weekly apartment on the west side of Vegas, like closer downtown, but more so on the west side. So we go into the strip together every night. Now, we fucked up. We done spent most of our money on this weekly apartment, and at that point, we really, man, we our pockets is like short like a spineless midget. You did. So he has the idea of selling fake cocaine, right? But what he does is he'll take some plastic, like some saran wrap or something like that, and he'll get some tissue, and he'll put the tissue in the plastic and wrap it real tight and make like little dummy rocks, right? Or not rocks, you know what I mean? Because he wasn't selling rocks, little dummy like balls of cocaine, lumps of cocaine, right? So, I don't really know shit about, I never was in the dope game. No knock to anybody that has, but I'm a novice. I'm an extreme novice when it comes to the dope game. But anyway, he making these little dummy lumps of cocaine with tissue and plastic, and he's going to the strip and finding marks, to sell them to. So we'll be down on the strip together, and I'll be around him while he's doing this shit. I never participated in the shit, but I'm around him. We together while he's doing this shit. I'm getting that hose, and he getting that hose, and he getting that marks to sell this fake cocaine, right? So this goes on for a few days, and when he gets a little bit of money, now he goes to buy some real cocaine. He got away with the fake cocaine for some days, right? He goes to buy the real cocaine. This is where shit goes left. So he like, yeah, I got some real cocaine now, woo, right? So we go to the strip. Again, I'm campaigning for hoes. He campaigning for hoes, and he campaigning for bros with dough. So we end up in Mandalay Bay. And I want to say it was a weekend night. It was like a Friday or a Saturday night. We end up in Mandalay Bay. He's in the casino, which, I'm young at the time, and I'm still like, I've been in Vegas for a little minute, but I'm not like the most seasoned motherfucker when it comes to Vegas. But I knew that him, trying to campaign for motherfuckers to sell powder to inside the casino, on the casino floor, I knew that wasn't a bright idea, right? So, like I said, I'm not partaking in the shit. I'm not participating in the shit, but we together though, right? So, what he started doing, he goes into the men's restroom, and he's, getting that motherfuckers in the men's restroom, right? So while he's doing this, I'm out moving around the casino doing my thing. But see, Vegas, they pay attention to everything in the casinos. You're not gonna get one buy on them inside that motherfucking casino, especially on the floor, right? So we had already been identified as being together. So that's where, where I fucked up. But he in the men's restroom. Now he got the real cocaine. He campaigning that motherfuckers in the men's restroom trying to sell this cocaine, right? So he meets one motherfucker in there that agrees, or actually it was two. It was two white boys. He meet two white boys in the restroom, and they agree to buy some powder, right? So I think they had to supposedly go to the ATM machine or something, but they end up sitting at a slot machine, right? And he walks up to me, and he points them out to me, and he says, yeah, them white boys over there, they were supposedly from a different country or some shit, supposedly, right? He like, yeah, the white boys over there, they gonna buy an 8-ball from me for $800 or $300 or something. It was either $800 or $300. Now again, I'm a novice when it comes to the dope game, but I want to say he said, hey, it was something ridiculous. Like whatever he said, whatever price they were supposed to give him for this 8-ball, I knew it was too much. And I've never sold a molecule of dope ever in my life. Never. You know what I mean? I when I was real young, I tried to sell weed one time, and I just didn't like the shit. You know what I mean? It was too tedious. You know what I mean? The profit margin wasn't to my liking. You know, I had bought 1 ounce, and when I sold that ounce, that was the end of my, you know, drug dealing. But I never sold no real dope like cocaine and all that shit. I never sold one speck of that shit. So, but even though I haven't done that, you know, I've been in the streets, so I know that whatever he's saying these white boys are supposed to pay for this 8-ball is too much. And I even said that to him. I said they gonna pay that for that. I want to say it was like 800. It was something ridiculous. I'm like, Pete, they really gonna pay that for that? He was like, oh yeah, man, you know, they some foreigners. I think he said they was from like Australia or something. So he was like, yeah, man, you know, they from Australia, man, so I know, you know, they got money, man, so I know I can get that. I'm like, all right. So I spin off, he go do his thing. And, you know, again, I'm kind of green to Vegas still. I'm green to the pimping because I'm still kind of fresh in the game. You know, I ain't even got a year in the game yet at this point, right? I got less than a year in the game, and but I'm seasoned as far as being a street nigga though. I'm a real seasoned street nigga, and I've always had like a sixth sense for vice and for police, right? Now, the casino is packed. It's all kind of motherfuckers moving around, right? So when he go in the bathroom to serve these 2 white boys with the dope, it's like a little rail. It's an area back here, right, where it's a live band performing, and at the edge of the area where they performing, it's a little gate, probably like 3 feet high, right? So I'm sitting on the gate, which is I'm sitting adjacent to the restroom, and I'm sitting on the gate like this, just chilling, right? You know, waiting for hoes to pass by, waiting for him to do his thing. And while I'm sitting here on the gate, a little redhead white bitch with some red heels on. I'll never forget. She had red high heels on. She was a little ginger, redhead white girl. You know, kind of decent looking. You know, a little bit older than me. I'm you know, mid-20s at the time. She looked like she was probably late 20s, early 30s, and she's over there to my right. And she like leans against the same gate, but probably like 10 feet away, 15 feet away, right? And like I said, there's plenty of people moving around, so it's a lot going on. But I'm paying attention to like everything, and certain things just catch my eye. So she goes and leans against the gate, and I looked at her when she go over there, and she kind of like gave like a little grin and waved at me, right? So immediately I felt funny. I was like, that ain't no hoe. It's just, like I said, I'm a street nigga, you know what I mean? And I'm like a bloodhound when it comes to smelling the police. Like, I just smell the motherfuckers from miles away. And I just knew that this bitch was not right. So you know, she smiled and waved at me, but I looked at her, she smiled and waved, and I didn't give no reaction. I just looked the other way, right? So she right there. About like, she's right there, the restroom is right here. About 30 feet this way, because the restroom is probably like 50 feet in front of me, right? About 30 feet this way, it's a white boy. He just standing there. He just like, he might have been leaning against the wall or some shit. Just standing there by himself, right? Not doing shit. Trying to look inconspicuous, but motherfucking you obvious as fuck. About 30 feet over here, it's a tall black dude with salt and pepper hair. Anybody who was in Vegas back in the days, I come to find out this was Sarge. This was my introduction to Sarge. You know what I mean? You motherfuckers who was around Vegas back in the days, if you familiar with the Vice crew that was around back in like '07, '08, you know what I mean? You motherfuckers know Sarge. So tall brother, probably about 6'4", you know, kind of stocky, probably 280. Salt and pepper hair, you know, probably at that time he was probably like mid to late 40s, you know what I mean? He stand about 30 feet this way, right? And again, the same type of shit. You know, these motherfuckers, they trying to look inconspicuous, but once they see that I made them, they make it obvious. They bold now. Like when I pay attention to them, they staring at me now. So now I got this white boy over here, this tall ass nigga over here, and the white girl over here. They all eyes on me. People moving all around, right? So naturally they press up on me and they like, come with us. I'm like, for what? What I do? They like, man, just come with us. So I walk with them to the back where the little security area is, and you know, a few minutes later they end up bringing OG back there, old school pimping. They end up bringing him back there too, and you know, they separated us. And they like, yeah, man, what's going on, man? You know, the motherfucking police talk. So what's going on, man? What's up, bro? You know, what you doing in here? And I'm like, man, you know, y'all seen what I was doing. I was just, you know, standing around talking to girls and stuff. You know, I'm a young man. I'm single. It's Saturday night or whatever night it was, you know. And I'm single and ready to mingle, man. I'm out here trying to find me a young, attractive lady to get to know. And they're like, I don't know, man, you know, because your partner, man, you know, your partner's around here selling cocaine to people in the restroom, man, and, you know, we saw you guys talking to each other, so, you know, I'm pretty sure you had something to do with that. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, I was talking to girls. I don't know what you're talking about. So, of course, you know, police kill me, like, they little spiels that they be coming with, man. They like, you know, so we could do this the easy way, or we could do this the hard way, man. Like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm just here hanging out, trying to have a good time tonight. So, basically, long story short, they try to press me for information. Of course, they search me. I don't have no drug paraphernalia, no drugs. I have nothing to do with drugs on my person at all, right? And they was upset by that. So they really wanted to arrest me, but they had no grounds to arrest me. So they 86'd me from Mandalay Bay, which Mandalay Bay is an MGM Mirage property. So by being 86 from Mandalay Bay, I'm 86 from all MGM Mirage properties, right? So, like I said, that's an instance where, you know, I was around a motherfucker that I knew better than. I shouldn't have been around this motherfucker while he's selling dope and I'm trying to pimp. I came out here to pimp, and he, you know, and I can't be mad at him because, you know, he called himself trying to pimp too, but he trying to survive at the same time. So, you know, it is what it is. Me, myself, I just have such a strong belief in my pimping. I just know that my pimping gonna get me through whatever situation. But, you know, he on some, you know, fucking these bitches ain't fucking with me right now, so I'm gonna fuck with myself in this powder, and we gonna make it like that. So, but like I said, that's a situation where bad association, you know, can have a motherfucker caught up, have you in a fucked up position, man. And, you know, we usually have our, I like to call pimp tuition. You know, your pimp tuition is gonna let you know that you shouldn't be around this motherfucker, but yet and still, especially young in the game, oftentimes, you know, we go against our pimp tuition and we end up moving with motherfuckers that we ain't got no business moving with and end up in a fucked up situation. And see, that's a situation that, you know, it had repercussions. after the fact, right? Because I get 86 that day. Now fast forward 2 weeks later, the bitch that was in jail for 30 days, she's out of jail now, right? So this 2 weeks later, I'm in New York, and I was talking to the hoe inside the casino, right? Like, we seen each other, and I was telling her something, right? I can't remember, it's a long ass time ago. But I'm saying something to the bitch, and I see the vice officer who arrested me, or not arrested me, who 86'd me from Mandalay Bay. I see him, the white boy, and another white boy, vice officer. Damn, I can't remember dude's name. Tall, kind of stocky, Italian looking dude with his hair slicked back. But anyway, I see them before they see me. So I see them and I tell the bitch, I said, there go the vice, bitch, get out of here. So she dipped between the slot machines and she get up out of there. They never seen her, right? But they end up seeing me. Now, like I said, I'm 86. Now, this is, mind you, that Mandalay Bay situation with the old School Pimpin, that's my first encounter with Las Vegas Metro Police Department. So this was their first, discovery of me on their radar. Prior to that, I never had no encounters with Metro. So I didn't exist to them up until that night. Now not only am I 86 from all MGM casinos, now the police know who I am, right? And they seen that I was, sharp, nice, well dressed, they knew what it was. They knew it was some pimping, right? So like I said, these two vice officers, the one from the Mandalay Bay recognized me, and they didn't say nothing to me. They just walk up and hands behind your back, you know what I mean? Hem me up, take me down to CCDC. For those of y'all unfamiliar, that's Clark County Detention Center, which is the jail, downtown Las Vegas. They cuffed me up, take me down there. Before they took me down there, they took me to the back in this little security area for New York, made me sign a paper, for the 86, took my picture and all that old shit. That's what they, normal procedure when they 86 you from a casino. So they go through that. They take me downtown. Now I'm down there. I can't remember if this was a weekend night too, because it was a bunch of hoes in there, man. And it's a good thing that the pimp was clean. See, that's why, man, when you go out to pimp, man, you got to always be fly, man. You got to always be sharp, you know what I mean? You see a pimp, nicely, freshly manicured up and all that, man. You know what I mean? You got to have your manicure together. You got to have your grooming, all your lining, everything. However, if you got long hair, your hair got to be whipped, man. When you go outside, you got to be fly, man, because you got to be ready for whatever. When you go into the world, it's things beyond your control, and something might, throw you off course. But anyway, they take me to jail downtown. I think I was the only guy in there, period, and I for sure was the only pimp in there. You know what I mean? And they take me in there and they sit me down with all the hoes and shit, man. And of course, because we in jail, I ain't finna pop no pimping or nothing like that, but I was just that clean motherfucker that they seen, and it's unfortunate that I'm in jail, but at least these hoes get to see a pimp, you know what I mean, and get an eye full at this all you can see buffet of pimping, you know what I mean, and really get a dose of this shit and lock it in their memory banks, take a mental Polaroid of this pimping, and have a memory stored in their mind as to the image of Freeze, you did. So, but that was on a side note, right? That was an eye-opening experience, man. Being in there with all them hoes, man. Hey, that's why pimping got to be on point at all times. Your defense game got to be on point with this pimping, right? Because it be so many things playing against the pimping. It's crazy. Even your own hoes, and they might not even realize they playing against the pimping. They just running their mouth. So Sarge walks in. Remember I told you the tall brother with the salt and pepper hair that was there when I got 86 from Mandalay Bay. That's Sarge. You know, I'm sitting there on the bench. Sarge walk in, he see me, because he was calling me that from the first time. He kept calling me player. So when he seen me this time, he like, what's up, player? Oh, man, player, you up in here tonight, man? What's going on, player? And I'm like, I ain't saying nothing to him, you know what I mean? I'm just, he like, oh, player, man, you ain't in a good mood, man. It's all right, player. You gonna be all right, player. So, you know, all the hoes, they knew him, you know what I mean? Like, he know these hoes by first name basis and shit like that. You know, and all the hoes was just like, it's like when he walked in, they was like old buddies, you know, because mind you, at this time, see, Vegas is different now, but back then, there was no hoe. Like when a hoe get arrested, she'd be in there for 3 hours, 4 hours, and she'd get spit right back out, right? It wasn't no 48-hour hoe or none of that shit back then. So, you know, it was a revolving door. Bitches stay going in and out of that motherfucker, right? And it ain't shit because they know they gonna get kicked out. So most of the bitches in Vegas back then, they done been arrested a whole bunch of times, right? So they always in that motherfucker. So they know all the vice officers. They know everybody. So, but it's just like the fact that they was so cool with Sarge. When he walked in, it was like they was happy to see him. It's like, oh, what's going on, Sarge? And, hey, what's going on, girl? You still with that same guy? Yeah, I'm still with him, but, you know, I'm thinking about leaving him because he ain't treating me right. Okay, girl, well, if you need me, let me know. Sarge, I don't need you. I'm cool. I'm gonna be all right. Shit like that. Like, these bitches is just chopping it up with the police like he the homie and shit. And that shit was, like, killing me. And it was multiple bitches because it was, like I said, I was for sure the only pimp. I might have been the only dude. If I wasn't the only dude, it might have been one or two other guys in there, but it was like 15 or 20 hoes. It was a bunch of hoes in there that night. Like they must have did a sting or something. It was a bunch of hoes in there. And a gang of them was in there like cool with Sarge, chopping it up with Sarge, telling them about their household situation, telling them about, you know, their relationship situation and all this, that, and the third. The police, whose job it is to bust them and the pimping. They just chopping it up with these motherfuckers like it's all good. So, you know, that was an eye-opening experience. So, you know, that was the one benefit that came from that situation. But bottom line, you know, I went from not being on the police's radar at all to getting 86, and then that being 86 led to me getting arrested, all because you dig. And that night when I got arrested, you know, I was only in there for a few hours. They didn't, you know, it's just a trespass. And you know, usually when you get caught for trespassing in the casino in Vegas, if you do go to jail, it's only, you know, you're only gonna be in there for a few hours or something. And that's what happened. You know, I got spit out. They spit me out in a few hours. So it wasn't too bad. I never seen housing. I never got housed. I never made it past processing. I was in a little processing area, and I ended up getting released from the processing area. Never had to dress out into the jumpsuit or none of that shit. So that was fortunate. But like I say, I made myself hot in the casinos and I made myself hot with the police, all because of being around a motherfucker who I knew I had no business being around, especially while he was doing what he was doing. You dig? Pimp got to be on point, and you got to do everything in your power to have things in your favor, and you don't at all want to, you know, stack the deck against yourself. And that's what I did in that situation. I stacked the deck against myself. And, you know, fortunately, even though it was an inconvenience, it wasn't as costly as certain situations that I know about where Pimpin was around a motherfucker in the game that they didn't have no business being around and end up getting killed. It's pimps who done got killed because they was around another motherfucker in the game that they didn't have no business being around, and they not here no more. They end up losing their life. It's pimps that was around motherfuckers that they didn't have no business being around, and they end up doing years in prison. Some motherfuckers ain't gonna never get out. Some motherfuckers do 7, 8, 9, 10 years in prison, then they get out and they on lifetime probation and all type of just inconveniences behind bad association. And like I said, your pimp tuition gonna let you know, man, I ain't supposed to be around this motherfucker. I know he say some pimping, he probably really is some pimping, but I'm not supposed to be around this motherfucker. You know, this motherfucker like to, you know, ride around with guns. You know, I'm a felon. Or, you know, not even if I'm a felon, you know, he a felon and he ride around with guns. You know, that's a bad situation. I don't need to be around that motherfucker like that. Or, you know, he riding around with drugs and shit for his hoes, or, you know, for himself. You know, I ain't got no drugs on my record, you know what I mean? I'm trying to keep it that way. You know, I ain't got no business being around this motherfucker. Or, you know, this motherfucker, you know, he like to get drunk and fight. You know, every time he get drunk, he starting shit with somebody. I know this, but I'm still with this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Because I don't want nothing to happen to him. You know, and if he get drunk and get into it with somebody, you know, I want to be there to save him and help. You can't do that, especially not with no grown man, because you ain't always gonna be there when that motherfucker get drunk, get to some bullshit. You can't save a motherfucker, especially a motherfucker that ain't trying to save theyself. You know, you got to stay away from bad association. You ain't got no business being around certain motherfuckers. Stay away from their ass. Learn how to be to yourself and around motherfuckers that's on the same page as you. You see, Sinful and me, we so motherfucking tight, and we been tight for a lot of years because we one and the same. You know, we both intellectuals. We both like to learn. We both read. You know, we both don't do drugs and don't drink and don't smoke and don't do none of that old shit. We both pimps. We both like to pimp. You know what I mean? We keep each other sharp. You know? We just one and the same. We not trying to do no extra shit. You know, we ain't gotta worry about, you know, oh damn, P high again, man. Let me go save P. We ain't got to worry about none of that type of shit. We one and the same. We on the same page. So you see why we so motherfucking tight. And then not just that, but our loyalty and trust with one another has been tried and true so many motherfucking times. You dig? Because it's situations like that too, you know, where it might not necessarily be like a legal situation or a dangerous situation, but some motherfuckers is just bad for the campaign. They just bad to campaign with. They gonna blow your action. You know what I mean? It's one motherfucker that come to mind, man. And it's funny because some of y'all pimps, you know, some of the pimping in here, y'all gonna laugh, man. And even certain hoes, you might laugh too, because you probably done seen this type of situation. Or you might be a square that just got a partner like this, man. It's like, nigga, shut up, man. Let me speak for myself. You know, or, you know, you might be a square female and you might have been talking to a dude and you really liked him, but his friend was just like stepping on his toes and wouldn't shut up, man. But it's a certain cat that I know, right? And me and him was real cool for a long time. But, you know, he the type of individual, he can be real cool to campaign with when he want to be. But sometimes he just go overboard, you know, but he can be real smooth, you know what I mean? He can be charming when he want to. Oh, and when he talking for himself, when he getting at a bitch for himself, smoothest motherfucker in the world. Like, not aggressive, just smooth, extremely smooth, you know what I mean? And see, when it comes to the pimping, right? If we hollering at a square that that we thinking about potentially turning out, or if it might be a hoe in the game, like, pimping gonna be smooth initially. Like, we not gonna be aggressive. It's just gonna be smooth finesse pimping, right? Talking, hands behind the back, smooth, right? So this is how this guy is when he's getting at a bitch for himself. But oh my goodness. I'm talking about this motherfucker is he on some Luther Vandross, he on some motherfucking some Maxwell, Music Soul Child, smooth pimping when he getting at a bitch for himself. You know what I mean? But man, when you get to get at a bitch, man, oh my goodness, he on some motherfucking Sugar Free, you know what I mean? Mac Dre, super turned up with the pimping, you know what I mean? Pimping. It'd have been times, man, where I be getting at a bitch and, this is a hoe. And, I'm being smooth with my pimping, man, and I just met this bitch. We only been talking like 5-10 minutes. And, bitch might jump in the car, we riding, you know what I mean? And I'm popping smooth pimping, I'm digging into the bitch, trying to find out as much about her as I can. I'm digging into her mind for ammo, you know what I mean? So I could effectively, shoot my shot. And this dude, I don't know if it's like the pimping ain't moving fast enough for him, the hoe ain't moving fast enough for him, and he'll just bust out of nowhere like, all right, bitch, what's it gonna be, ho? You gonna fuck with some pimping or what, ho? I mean, all this old pity pat ass shit, bitch. Choose a pimp. Give a pimp some money right now, ho. What is you gonna do, bitch? What you gonna do, sister? Choose a pimp. He get on this motherfucking Hulk Hogan shit like, choose a pimp, bitch. Like, and it's like, damn, P, like, what's up with that? Like, you wasn't doing this when you was just getting at a bitch for yourself a few minutes ago. Why you? Bad for business, man. Pimp ain't got no business campaigning with a motherfucker like that. Like I said, it's not a situation where you're gonna risk going to jail or getting hurt or killed or, put in a perilous situation or anything like that. But it's just a motherfucker that's just bad for the campaign, man. And it's crazy because, I pride myself on being like a cold wingman, it ain't really too many. That's another reason why Sinful and myself is so cool, because when we campaign together, it's perfect harmony. It's harmonious pimping going on. You know what I mean? We know how to compliment the situation, compliment each other's situation without stepping on toes, without being belligerent, without being aggressive. Just smooth finesse type shit. We not gonna get in each other's way. It's just some smooth, harmonious pimping going on when me and Sinful campaigning. And I got other partners that I can campaign with like that too. But certain individuals, man, you're not supposed to campaign with, man. Certain individuals, Pimp just supposed to stay away from their motherfucking ass when it's time to campaign. When it's time to kick it and chop pimping and all that, they might be cool. But when it's time to campaign and go get at bitches, man, they gonna step on your toes. You know what I mean? They gonna scare the bitch off. You know what I mean? On that note, man, let me put some of this good old love in my life. Go ahead, hit a pimp with that splash emoji, man. Let me know y'all in tune with him. Put some love in your life. All right, so I'm gonna answer a few questions, read some comments, respond to some comments for a minute, and then before we wrap it up, man. Let me see here. It's 198 of y'all in here, man. Only 105 of y'all done wiped your feet off at the door, man. Go ahead and wipe your feet off at the door for a pimp. Please and thank you. Hit that like button, that thumbs up thing like that, man. Hit that right there, you know what I mean? Or, you know, it's one of y'all that hit this thing. You know, if you want to hit this thing, you can hit that thing too. It's all good, you know what I mean? I ain't tripping, man. Just hit one of them motherfuckers. Like it, hate it, do something. Don't just sit there like this. You know what I mean? Hit one of them motherfuckers. But let me see, read these comments. Brother Bill, toasting with that love, indeed. MVP on Sweet Tea. You ever campaigned in NYC before? If so, what was it? What it was like? Nah, I can't really say I campaigned in New York before. I done been out there, and I've pimped out there. I've done like a little tiny bit of pimping out there, but I can't really say I campaigned out there. But I have spent a lot of time in New York before the game, right? Like, if you go watch my video I did some time back called My Life Before the Game, I'm pretty sure in that video I broke down my New York experience, you know, before the game, prior to the game. So I have spent a lot of time in New York, you know, prior to the game. But as far as like campaigning out there and pimping out there, you know, my experience is really limited when it comes to that. So I can't really say based on that, but just based on my having been out there before, like I know how I would campaign out there. Like, I think New York is a great place to campaign. Whole bunch of beautiful ass women everywhere you go, every neighborhood, everywhere you go out there. You know what I mean? Bunch of beautiful ass women. So yeah, I love New York. I love it out there. That's one of them places I think either you love it or hate it. I love it. I guess maybe because I'm from LA and it's kind of, it's they very different places, but you know they both fast paced. So maybe that's why I like New York, because it's fast paced. I like the fast paced shit. Gaming with G's. Good looking on the subscription, man. You did. Lindell Taylor, top of it from Oakland. Top of it. Oakland in the house. Oh, you sliding out there tomorrow. Yeah, man. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to New York before, but man, it's some slick motherfuckers out there. I will say that. You know, you can't go out there thinking everybody gonna be friendly with you, everybody gonna be welcoming with you and all that shit. Like, New York ain't the place for that. You know, if you don't know a motherfucker, then trying to be friends with niggas and shit that you don't know, hell no. You know what I mean? The motherfuckers will gobble you up. So, you just got to know how to stay sucker free out there when you're moving around that New York, man, because there's some hyenas out there, some wolves out there, man, that'll try to sink their teeth into your motherfucking ass if you don't know no better. So, yeah, as far as like who you spend time with out there, if it's some niggas or something like that, you know, or even the pimping, man, you know, if it's not somebody that you know, yeah, stay to yourself. Brad D 2400, you ever campaigned in Baltimore? I have campaigned in Baltimore, man, and man, it was a situation where the hoe really saved my pimping, man. I was in Baltimore one time, right? and I'm at a strip club on Baltimore Street. This like a long time ago. I'm at a strip club on Baltimore Street, right? And I probably told y'all this story before, but I go into the strip club with a hoe of mine, right? But when we go in, we immediately parted ways with each other. So, you know, to the people in there, you know, they probably never thought that we were together. So, from what I recall, the bar was like a big circle or a big square. It was like one of them big square bars, and where you could sit all around the bar. So I sat on one side of the bar, and she sat on the other side of the bar, and some niggas came up to her and was like talking to her and shit. You know what I mean? Some like hood looking niggas, grimy looking ass niggas, right? And you know, I was in there fly, you know, looking good and shit like that. You know, I guess I was looking like an expensive motherfucker. And the bitch, she shot me a text message and let me know that the niggas was like sizing me up, and she could overhear them talking about, you know, like plotting on me, like, damn, you know what I mean, we should get that nigga, that type of shit, right? So long story short, I ended up sliding up out of there, you know, unharmed and you know, with no drama going on. You know, I didn't end up in no situation I didn't have to get myself out of. But, you know, the hoe really saved me in that instance, man. It was a major blessing that the hoe just so happened to be there, and not just so happened to be there, but just so happened to be in the right position to overhear that shit and put me up on game before some bullshit happened. Man, you know what I mean? I was talking about some Bonnie and Clyde. That was one of them type of situations, man. The hoe was really a blessing to me in that case. But yeah, Baltimore can be a grimy ass place too. If you slipping, them niggas will get you. Oh, trust me, I know New Orleans is the home of the Southern Slickers. Oh yeah, I'm already knowing. Yeah, you know. Yeah, I already know, but you know I know about that New Orleans, man. Shit, that's another place. So. Yeah, it's a cruddy city, man, but that's a blessing for sure. Yeah, Baltimore. Baltimore kind of remind me of New Orleans, like places like Baltimore, New Orleans, Detroit, St. Louis. You know, those are some of like the grimiest cities I done been to, man. Like, you know, everywhere got they hoods, right? Every city you go to got an urban community. They got they ghettos and all that type of shit. But like I said, New Orleans, Baltimore, Detroit, St. Louis, those is like the grimiest cities I've never been to, man. I'm talking about just like, it just looked dismal. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fucked up looking places. You know what I mean? They all got their beautiful parts too. You know what I mean? Like New Orleans got some beautiful parts to it too. New Orleans, it's crazy. To me, New Orleans is like a beautiful city and an ugly city at the same time. You know what I mean? New Orleans is beautiful and ugly at the same damn time, man. It's some beautiful parts of that motherfucker, but it's some ugly parts of that motherfucker too. Right, like Bill say, Baltimore is a different type of grimy. It really is, man. You know, that motherfucking Baltimore is, man. And Baltimore is a trip because, you know, when you downtown Baltimore, right, certain streets where you can park after a certain time, I want to say it's like 4 in the afternoon, that shit turns into a lane, right? And there's other cities like that too, but Baltimore got a lot of streets like that where you can park here right now, but after a certain time, that shit turns into a lane, so they'll come and tow your shit quick. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget, I was out there, I had this little bitch, we was shopping. And we was walking back to the truck. I had a Tahoe at the time. And we got bags and shit, we walking back to the Tahoe, and I see that motherfucker on the flatbed. But fortunately, the tow truck driver was a brother, and he was running his mouth with somebody. He was like an older cat, and he was running his mouth with some dude that he knew from back in the days or some shit. So I dropped my bags and hurried up and ran down to that motherfucker. I ran down, it was probably like 2 blocks down the street. I seen that shit. I dropped the bags. I said, bitch, take these bags. Get down there. I'm like, hey, man, this is my truck, man. You can't take this motherfucker, man. I need this truck, man. You can't take this truck. He like, all right, youngster. Hold on. Let me finish my conversation. Matter of fact, he was like, yeah, go ahead and jump in, man. Jump in the truck and let me finish my conversation. So I jumped in the truck. And, man, that motherfucker got me. He finished his conversation. And we go around the corner. And he like, look, I'm going to work with you, youngster. Now, you give me $150, or you can give them people $250. But you're going to have to pay somebody today. I'm like, oh, man, I done fell into the trap. I know OG probably got 10 motherfuckers that day. OG probably went home racked up like a motherfucker that day. But I'm like, fuck, man. So I gave him a little 150 and shit, but yeah, I never go through that shit again. OG got my motherfucking ass that day. Had to give his ass 150 to take my truck off that flatbed, man. Got my ass. And that motherfucker downtown Baltimore, because like I said, the street where I was parked at, at the time, because we had been shopping probably maybe like 2 hours or something like that. But at the time when I parked there, it was okay to park there. I even paid, you know, they had like the little, you pay for the parking on the street or whatever. I paid, but by the time I made it back, it had just changed from being an area where you could park to an actual lane where motherfuckers is driving. You know what I mean? And my shit was like the only shit there. So yeah. But yeah, man, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one on up. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all for subscribing. I appreciate y'all for wiping your feet off at the door, whether you hit this or you hit this. It's all good. I appreciate the shares, the comments, the feedback, all of that good stuff. I appreciate your support in every which way that you comes with it. You know what I mean? On the way out, we're going to go ahead and sip some of this good old love. Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all be easy. If y'all out in traffic moving around,